You want to hear content about the Philadelphia Eagles and the Philadelphia 76ers. That's straight to the point, no nonsense, no over-the-top shenanigans. Say what we got to say and keep it moving. Then you made the right choice coming to Nikki Steve's channel, so stay tuned. All right, Sixers fans, I'm back at you with another quick vid this time. It's going to be a quick one. For some of you watching my vids, you might feel like I'm a little bit cynical about my perspective of the Sixers. I'm a little bit worried about them winning a championship, that they don't have everything in place. And I'm going to simply explain the reason why. For those of you that have wondered why and been watching my vids, well, here's why. The reasons why are, number one, we haven't won a championship since 1983. Last time the Sixers won a championship was before I was born. So I didn't actually get to see it. So it's been that long since we've won a championship. So I started around the Iverson years. I barely remember the 2001 finals. I remember it more from highlights than I do actually remember it. So I went through the Iverson years, then the years where Iguodala was the best player on the team, then to the Sam Hinkie years. And remember the Sam Hinkie years, the whole goal of the process was to build a championship contender for years to come. Remember, we went through all those years where we were trading draft picks, like Michael Carter-Williams. He won Rookie of the Year only to trade him. We were drafting guys who are overseas, who either barely played or didn't play. We went through all those years with the promise being that we'd cut through this and we'd build a championship contender and possibly a championship winning team for years to come. Well, we're past that point. We're at that point now where it's been nearly a decade since that process started. We still haven't made it to a finals yet. And I'm kind of wondering, like, okay, how much longer is it going to be before we get to a finals? That's why I always had addressed my concerns about, while the Sixers are a good regular season team this year under Doc Rivers, definitely their best regular season in years under Doc Rivers, and with Daryl Morey in the front office, it's definitely our best regular season, but I still see areas where I'm like, I don't know if we're a championship contender. Specifically, Ben Simmons on offense. He cannot stay consistent on offense. Now, he's definitely the best defensive player in the league, and that's a plus. But for a guy who's supposed to be the number two guy, not playing like it offensively. Tobias Harris is playing more like the real number two guy. It concerns me that the guy who's supposed to be the number two guy doesn't play like it on the offensive side of the ball. And I've alluded to that in past videos, specifically a few weeks ago after his performance against the Grizzlies. I made a vid saying that Ben Simmons' performance, I started to lose. What I was really saying is I started to lose faith that we could compete for a championship. And in my last video, which is a short vid, I alluded to it that our struggles against the West have me concerned, because this week we lost to the Phoenix Suns last night. Earlier in the week, we lost to the Golden State Warriors. That has me concerned. But it's like the reason I can be a bit cynical about it, or the reason I should say you guys might take it as a bit cynical, is because, well, what was I saying? Yeah, but like I said, some of you guys are watching, you might take it as me being a bit cynical. And I wanted to explain the reason why. It's because, one, we haven't won a championship since 1983. And isn't the point of the NBA to win the championship? Things like the process, they take a long time, but we went through that for so many years. We're only at that point now where it feels like we could have a chance. Even when we first started winning, we started to see some light at the end of the tunnel. We were happy to see the Sixers winning, but we never really felt like a championship contender. The closest was 2019 playoffs when we lost to the Raptors in 7 games, that Kawhi Leonard buzzer beater in Game 7. That was the closest we came. But even then, throughout that season, I never really felt like we were a contender. I mean, this is the first time I feel like we have hope to be contender, but I still don't feel we're quite there yet. I still feel like we have missing a few pieces. We still feel like we need maybe another piece or two to compete for a championship, specifically bench guys. And I also feel like our struggles against the West, because this year we're 14-12 against the West, meanwhile 25-7 against the East. I still don't feel like we're quite there yet. And it's just, I've been waiting for so long. I want to see them get to that point where they compete for and win a championship. So that's why my attitude in some of these videos can seem, some of you guys might take it as me being a little bit overly critical and a little bit cynical about the Sixers. But I wanted to clear up the errors. The reason why is because we've been waiting for so long. We were waiting for throughout the Iverson years, the years where Iguodala was the best player on the team, went through the process, all those years. Still haven't gotten to a finals, because I barely remember the 2001 finals. remember it more from highlights and actually seeing it, but it's like we've been going through that for all these years. I've been waiting to see them at least make it to a finals. They haven't even gotten there. So it's like I'm wondering, like, how much longer are we going to go through this before we can get there? That's why I can be a little bit cynical that some of you guys might find cynical in some of my vids, because I'm waiting for them to get to that next level and win that championship. Now, if it doesn't happen this year, then hopefully they'll get the right pieces together so they can do it another year or so from now. Yeah, so for those of you that were wondering why I sometimes might seem a little bit, if I have a jaded perspective, sometimes a little overly critical, maybe a little bit negative about the Sixers, because I've been waiting a long time for this team to at least be able to compete for a championship, and it still doesn't feel like we're quite there yet. It's a little bit annoying having to go through it for all these years, and we're still not all the way there yet. Whereas the Eagles, as some might consider jaded or negative about it, because we won a Super Bowl a few years back. It's been a few years removed since then, but we at least had that under our wing. Sixers, we haven't had that under our wing. I haven't seen since 1983, and I haven't seen it in my lifetime. That's the reason I can sometimes have the attitude I have toward the Sixers, where I might seem like I'm being a little bit harsh. I wanted to clear the air, that's all. And I know the Sixers play the Milwaukee Bucks tonight. As of right now, is a little bit past 7 p.m. is the time this recording, so the game should be just starting right now. To everyone watching, thank you for watching, whether you agreed or disagree, whatever the case may be. If you haven't subscribed, do so and hit the notification bell so you know when I upload a new vid. If you haven't hit the like button, do so to show your support. Also, comment in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about the Sixers, where they currently stand, whether you're happy about it, whether you're still a little bit jaded, cynical, whatever word you want to use. Let me know how you feel in the comment section about where the Sixers currently stand. And most of all, everyone watching, have a wonderful day or night. Nicky Steve signing off, and I'll see you next time. For more content like that about the Philadelphia 76ers, make sure you hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you're notified when I upload a new vid.